started.
All right,
So
we're recording, Bree. So just so you know.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so welcome tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you taking an hour out of your day. So again, thank you for registering for Design Expo. We would not be able to do this event without you as our team participants. And so I just appreciate all of you for joining us for this event. And Design Expo will be on April 21st, and it is in two parts. So there's the student showcase, which all of you are registered for. And then that's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that will be on the first floor of the Van Pelt and Opie Library. So we will be in the East and Opie reading room and reading rooms. And those are essentially the first floor of the glass open spaces with all of the tables and whatnot on the first floor of the library. And then we will have a social hour and award ceremony, which is the conclusion of Design Expo. And that will be 2:30 to 4:30 in the Rosé Center lobby. And so, of course, all of you are invited to that event, and that is where we will announce our awards, and we'll also have some hors d'oeuvres as well during that time. All right, and I just want to remind everyone, please mute yourself just so that we can make sure we can limit any of the feedback. Okay, and then also, we are so excited to have new workshop offering for this year. So we have partnered with the library to offer 4 different workshops, one of which is repeated. So yesterday we had our first one, which was talking about video creation and editing. And if you would like to go back to that, when we send the slides and video for this presentation, you'll be able to use the QR code to get to those PowerPoint slides. Next week, we will have Explain Your Project, and that is more of a chance to develop what you might want to say and get some of those beginning stages of practicing. And then on Thursday, we'll have Communicate with Images and Visualization. And we'll be able, and during that workshop, we'll really talk about what your booth setup might look like, what you might do as your visual aid. And then on Wednesday the 13th, we'll bring back the Explain Your Project to Anyone workshop, where you will be able to practice what you've created in the first one and what you have practiced since that first workshop. All of these will be recorded, probably with the exception of the third practice workshop on the 13th. But essentially you will be able to revisit some of these. But if you are able to make it in person, it's always great to be able to bounce ideas off of each other. And then also new this year, we will be doing partnering with the career services to do a resume blitz. So if you are planning to incorporate what you've done this semester, this year, from your senior projects or from your capstone projects or in enterprise, then you'll be able to meet with different industry partners and professionals to build or edit your resumes. And that will be on April 20th, the day before Design Expo. And that will be in Admin 220, which is the career services space. So also, it's important to recognize that we have different components for awards this year. So the Design Expo Awards, they are 2 different categories for our senior design and capstone. So you don't have to be in senior design, but essentially if you are a capstone or team participating, then you are eligible for the senior design awards. And then we have a separate set of similar awards for enterprise students and enterprise teams. And then we also have the image contest, in which all 3 of these award categories are you as a team are automatically entered into with your registration. So the image that you submit for your for the booklet or for the online booklet, that will be entered into the image contest. If you have submitted an image and you would like to change that, it's easy to do, and you are able to email me to update that image. And then the senior design and enterprise awards, those are based off of your video submissions and the Q&A portion that you do with judges at Design Expo. And so next, I'd like to offer Lisa Casper the floor, and she is going to talk about the Innovation Awards for us.
Thanks, Bree. So I know a few of you, I've seen some of your names here that I recognize, but I'm Lisa Casper. I'm the program manager for Husky Innovate. And Husky Innovate is happy to partner with Enterprise again this year to offer the Innovation Award. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about that award. So the Innovation Award is given to enterprise or senior capstone teams who have demonstrated the market potential of their innovative approach. So your solution, whatever it might be, if you feel that it has market potential and that it's potentially like innovative, novel in some way, you should consider applying for this award. To be eligible, you have to apply by April 8th at 11:00 p.m. And I've included the link, and there's a QR code there if you're interested. And I'll talk a little bit more about what the judges are looking for. Again, this is, so thanks, Bree. So there's the judges rubric is going to cover 5 areas. So the first step is for you to submit a Google form, and there are going to be some questions that you'll be asked to kind of outline these 5 areas that the judges are going to review your online application and take a look at. So the first is for you to outline the problem that you're addressing with your technology. So really talk about what the problem is and how the technology addresses that, outline that in a way that we can really understand that. And then you would want to talk about your customers, who are the ideal customers that would really appreciate this innovation. And if you want to take it a step further, tell us a day in the life of this person and why this solution would make their lives better, offering them relief from some sort of pain or providing them a gain. Next, we'd like you to tell us how it's distinct over other solutions. Is this a novel solution? And maybe even tell us a little bit about how it is novel. And then lastly, the value proposition to your end users. So this is what this is getting at is the difference between the technology that you've described in step 1 and the value proposition to your end user. So in other words, how are you creating value for your end users? And lastly, what is your plan to move forward? And just kind of walk the judges through that. And those are the pieces that are involved with that application. And that's what the judges are going to be looking at. And I think that's about it. And so again, there's the link there if you have any questions. And the prize, I don't think I mentioned the prize amount. So the first prize is $250, the second prize is $150, and the third prize is $100. All right, thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. And then, of course, when I think I may have mentioned this already, but once the PDF version of these slides are emailed out, this is a clickable link. So you'll be able to get to these forms easily. All right. And then for our last, or more so second to last award, we do offer enterprise specific awards. And so those award categories are outstanding leadership, the rookie award. So do you have a newcomer to your team who has demonstrated, has really put in a lot of effort into your team and who has made your team better? And then we also have the Innovative Solutions Award. And so it would be totally within the realm of possibilities to have your, to apply for the Innovation Award and then also apply for the Innovation Solutions Award specific to enterprise. And then we also have the Industry or Sponsor Relationship Award. And then on the faculty and staff side, we have the Outstanding Enterprise Advisor Award. So this is a way to recognize your advisors as well as the outstanding sponsor. So who has been, so a sponsor that has really made working on your projects easy breezy, or has really been outstanding to really help you be successful on your teams. We also have the Behind the Scenes Award. So is there a staff member or a community member or someone who has been helping you behind the scenes complete and perfect your team or your projects? And then also we have the Module Masters. So if you are in an enterprise module, then this is your opportunity to recognize a instructor who is teaching one of our enterprise modules. The deadline for applying for these awards are similar. The deadline is April 8th, and then by 11:59. And then this is a clickable PDF that will take you to more information about the awards. And then for our last award, we have brought back Proud Favorites. And so essentially what that is, on the day of Design Expo, we will have a phone number or website that folks can follow after viewing your videos on the Design Expo website, and they will be able to vote for their favorite video. And so from that, any enterprise or senior design or senior capstone project is eligible. And again, you are automatically entered into this award by submitting your videos, and each video is public facing, unless there are sponsor considerations, in which we'll talk about that soon. All right, so getting into a little bit more of what to expect a day of Design Expo and leading into Design Expo. If you do have any questions, please always feel free to put a question in the chat. There will also be time for questions at the end, but you could also ask for clarity by unmuting and just speaking up and letting me know that you have a question. So for video presentations, there are 2 years worth of video history. And so if you follow this QR code or go to the Design Expo website and check out past Design Expos, We have videos from 2020 as well as 2021. So the last few years that we have had video submissions. You'll be able to see all of the videos a part of the gallery, but also your past winners. So speaking for this year, what to focus on for your videos, there are 4 components. Essentially what we're asking you to focus on is the problem or problems that your team has tackled. Help viewers essentially understand the problem that you're addressing. And then next we have your team solution. Sorry about the typo, but we have your team solutions. So give a brief description of what your team did and how you solved that problem. Next, we want to hear about your conclusion. So what are 1 or 2 things or conclusions that that viewers should know? And then lastly, what are your recommendations moving forward? And so we know that some senior design teams or some capstone teams will not continue working on this project. And so we understand that. What we would hope for you to do is, what if a future team may be taking over this project? What are some things that they could consider? Or if you could continue this project, then what is it that you would do in order to dive deeper or to continue it? And then for our enterprise teams, we understand that enterprise typically has more than 1 project in a single year. And so what we are hoping for you to do is to focus on 1 or 2 projects in your videos, but also we do have the opportunity for additional projects, a part of your enterprise, to create a separate video that will not be judged, but can be public facing, and or request an additional table for your enterprise. And so again, that additional table won't be judged, but it is public facing and it gives your team the recognition that of what you have done throughout the year. And so we have those opportunities for teams who want more than 1 table. So some things to consider. Here are the slides from yesterday's video creation workshop. And once the video has been made, the recording from yesterday's workshop has been made available, then I will also post that and make that available to you all. But some things that were mentioned in last night's presentation is really to consider planning ahead, or don't consider it, but plan ahead. You may want to, and you may benefit from making a script and really focusing on images and video. So taking those videos and images now instead of having while you're testing and while you're developing, rather than trying to recreate those at a later date. Also, consider what you plan to record ahead of time, and that kind of goes along with making that script. And also just recognize that with lighting differences and with different sound qualities of rooms, that you may want to put a little bit of planning into that before you make your final video. And then lastly, accessibility matters. We would really appreciate and also ask that you do consider your closed captioning. So with Zoom, with many different video editing, especially on YouTube, you are able to upload your video and automatic transcripts or captions are created for you. but not all captions are made equal. And so it will be important to go back to your captions and include catch punctuation, spelling, as well as double meanings or missed words. So just making sure that you are considering closed captions before submitting your video. There are many of you and only so many of me. And so we as a committee will not be able to edit your captions, to edit all of your captions. And so it will be important that your team will review and correct your captions on your behalf. So also, senior design video should be 4 minutes or less, and enterprise video should be 8 minutes or less. All right, next, we would like you to consider your sponsor considerations. So I would encourage you to submit your video if you have a sponsored project, to submit your video concept or presentation to your sponsor ahead of time so that they are aware of what you are submitting to public view and to Design Expo, and also so that everyone involved has considered confidentiality as well as intellectual property and the use of your sponsor's name and logo. And for many of you who do have sponsored projects, you have likely or have definitely signed or discussed project agreements. And so some of these questions may be addressed in those project agreements. And it will be important for you, again, to consider what the guidelines are of your project agreements before you put a ton of work into a video or into your visual aid, and will then have to make changes. All right, video submissions are due Sunday, April 17th by 7 p.m. And some things to consider, in which we will talk about this in a moment. Your videos don't have to be highly technical, as well as really finding an equal balance between what you put in your video and what you discuss with visitors to your tables in person. And so just trying to make sure that you are getting a little bit of variety, and again, that you are able to talk about the high points of your project without having to make a 15-minute video. And so I think that this will be time saving to you, but also will help you have two different things to discussing video versus in person. And then lastly, we are looking for MP4 files. Also on the website, there are other audio and video files that you can submit. But essentially what we are not looking for is a YouTube link. And so what our committee will do, the Design Expo committee, we will upload your videos to YouTube under the Design Expo YouTube page. So that is something that you will not have to worry about. All right, and so this is a question that I have gotten quite a few times over email. And so I just want to make sure that we all kind of understand what a visual aid is and what that may look like. But essentially, at the end of the day, a visual aid is up to your team's interpretation. And so whatever you believe will help your team talk to your project, talk about your project, in the clearest, most concise, most impactful way, then that is how we want you to display your project. But with that being said, some ideas for your visual aid would be to get creative. If you are a team that has a project that is portable or even just physical to begin with, then we invite you to bring that element of your project to Design Expo. Show people how it works, whether that be through videos, images, or really, again, showing people in person, in real time, what you have created. And then also really trying to engage people in conversations and helping people understand what you have done by talking one-on-one with them and giving them a chance to kind of visually see what it is that you're doing without having to have the awkward pause of people staring at you or at your poster, and then eventually engaging them in conversations. So, but again, with all of that being said, if a poster is something that you will create for your department, or if a poster is the best way for your team to develop or to showcase what you've created, then by all means, create your poster and bring that to Design Expo. So I'm going to hand this over to Rick next, and he will talk a little bit about judging.
Thanks, Bree. Yeah, thanks everyone. Just by way of quick introduction, several of you know me as the director of the enterprise program. Some of you know me as the advisor of the Super Mileage Systems Enterprise, and yet some may know me as the instructor of Six Sigma courses in enterprise. So it's all the same person, but today I am representing the enterprise program as a whole. So working with Bree here to help answer any questions and clarify. So when it gets to the judging at Design Expo, we have two components here. So the video judging, so that video that you're putting this work into and submitting to us by that Sunday, the 17th, there will be a rubric, which I'll show you in a software we use that judges can watch that video ahead of time, anywhere from that Monday after you submit it, once we get it all loaded, up to the day of the expo. And then they will in person do some Q&A judging. So based on a conversation with you, which we just talked about at your table or booth display, as you want to call it, they will answer a question related to your ability to communicate from the Q&A session. So I'll show you real briefly here in my screen what that looks like from the judge's perspective. So can everybody see my screen okay? Maybe just a thumbs up or something, or okay.
We can see it.
So this Rocket Judge, it's not even an app, it's a web-based, like a cloud-based judging software that assigns judges to teams and allows us to say, okay, Rick, you're the advisor of Super Mileage, so we won't give you Super Mileage, which I put that in here. So it did not assign me Super Mileage because that might be a conflict. And then this is a draft. So if I'm just going to click on, I see Dr. Rogers here. It assigned me to CPM. So this is last year's video, just as an FYI. We're still building out, obviously, the judging software, but what the judges will actually see on a mobile device is something exactly like this. So they'll have maybe typically 4 teams will assign them. And the embedded video that we upload to YouTube will be linked so that they can see a preview here and then they can watch it. But then we have several categories here, or rubric criteria. So the organization and flow. And if you hover over this, it kind of goes from difficult to follow, inconsistent flow, to average, okay organization and flow, to logical and consistent. So these slider bars allow the judge to provide a numerical score, I guess a rating score. And then again, there's a printout of these definitions as well, or these rubric criteria, but have you sufficiently communicated the purpose and objectives of your project or projects as an enterprise? Have you explained the significance of the work? So why is it important to work on this? You know, why are these problems important to solve? Have you clearly communicated those solutions? And again, what we've asked for in the video instructions match this. So they can go through, have you clearly communicated your results and conclusions and any next steps? Kind of a subjective, but overall quality of work. So having the judge sort of assess that, you know, what is their perspective of the quality of the work as it's presented here. And then a little bit more further, have you supported your decisions and results? So again, we don't expect a deep dive, but when you make conclusions and talk about approaches that you might have taken to solve a problem or address a design opportunity, have some narrative in there that supports why you did what you did. Clear, coherent, and articulate, same thing, right? So, you know, have you practiced that delivery like Bree had talked about? Have you, you know, if you're handing off between speakers, have you practiced that? Those types of things. Appropriate language choices. So again, I would consider this, you know, this is a, you know, a somewhat technical presentation, right? You're presenting a solution to a problem that you solved. So be mindful of your language choices. So is it not overly casual, right? So professional tone, engaging, enthusiastic, right? Language okay, right? Very professional and appropriate. So just be mindful of how you're presenting or how you're communicating and choosing your words. Engaging and interesting. So yeah, try to attract their interest in your delivery, both in the video and also at the Q&A, which is the final piece. So once they meet with you day of event, they'll likely ask clarification after they've watched your video and looked at what you've got on display there. So they'll want to talk to you about that. And this is that conversation we're talking about. So the judges will basically see something like this, and they'll do that for their assigned teams. And then the judging basically tallies up so that we can give away the money and the awards and all that recognition that we like to do. So I always enjoy that piece of it. Yes, question? Maybe not. Okay. But yeah, I guess I get to help co-host the award ceremony, and we want to recognize teams doing great things. So this is one small way for us to do that. And it's great to get judges from all walks of life. You know, they might be industry folks, they might be campus faculty and staff. Sometimes we have graduate students. They could be just local community members. I would kind of use this as an opportunity to remind, don't assume the audience knows anything about your project. And that can be very challenging sometimes for all the hours that you've put into these projects over the academic year, but they're not going to be expert in most of what you're doing. They could be, but that's not an assumption going into how we assign judges. We assign judges more based on sometimes their interest levels, if they indicate that, but also avoiding conflicts if they're sponsors or things like that. So I think I'll stop there, Bree, unless you have anything to add, certainly, by all means.
Nope, I think that covers it. Again, once I've sent this out, then this is a clickable PDF to our judging rubric.
Yeah, and I just for following the chat here, yeah, Tony mentioned some projects are student initiated, so that should be pointed out. Yeah, I think just identifying, right, who the project stakeholders were, whether it was a more entrepreneurial or internally identified project. Another question here is, what's the library? Oh, did you answer that one, Bree? the weight capacity for bringing a fixture. Okay.
Yep, and for that, I will definitely reach out to the library tomorrow and to hopefully see what type of weight capacity is available. Thank you for that question. It's something I never would have considered. So yes, thank you.
All right.
All right, so we've gone through pre-Design Expo, we've gone through submissions. Now it's time to consider what the day of Design Expo will look like. And so setup may begin at 8:45. And so because we are in the library, and this is a very public and very important space for students studying in the last week of classes, we are not able to set up, do floor plans the day before. And so our committee will be in the library setting up tables that morning. And so we do ask that you try to plan your setup for 8:45 or later. We will have coffee and tea, as well as different beverages for you. So that will be there as you are setting up in the morning. We do ask that you have completed setup by 9:45. That will be 15 minutes before the start of Design Expo, so that we will have any time to troubleshoot or get you anything that's missing or help you be successful. After setup, then we'll jump right into our kickoff, which starts at 10 a.m. And that kickoff will be roughly about 15 minutes. We will welcome people to Design Expo. We'll kind of give an explanation for how the day will look, and we'll kind of set people loose. And then from there, the student showcase, that is all about you, all about your projects, all about your teams, and that will last until 2 p.m. From there, we will have time to break down and to pack up all of your materials and your booths. And then starting at 2:30, we will kind of hopefully usher people over to the Rosé for some light hors d'oeuvres, as well as a chance to win door prizes, as well as some trivia from throughout the day that will highlight your projects, but then also kind of serve as a little bit of entertainment. And then we will then transition into our award ceremony at 3:30. And so that gap in time is primarily so that we can tally all of your all of the judging from the 10 to 4 event, or I'm sorry, 10 to 2 event, and get all of the awards set up so that the awards ceremony can get started. And all of you are invited to that, to our social and award ceremony. We would love to be able to give you your award in person, but we understand if you are not able to make it, and we'll have other opportunities for you to receive your award at a later time. And so we'd love to see you there, but we'll understand if you are not able to make it. And then on some attire considerations for the day, we are aiming for business casual or business professional. And if you feel so inclined, then you are more than welcome to do wear a suit or tie, but also a collar shirt. If you're an enterprise team, you likely have some team branding, team branded attire, so you're more than welcome to wear that. And then we will also have sticker name tags available for all of you. Just also so you know, there will be event photographers throughout the day. And so We will hopefully take as many pictures as we can. And if you or a team member does have, if you do have, if you would prefer your image or your picture not to be taken, then simply let the photographer know, and we can definitely go from there. And for now, who to expect at Design Expo. So as we've already talked about, you'll have between 3 and 5 judges who will review your video and then also come to your booths or during Design Expo. And as Rick has already mentioned, we cannot guarantee that that person who is assigned to you as a judge will be a content subjects expert. So definitely do just be aware of how you are talking to folks about what you have done over the last year. We also expect to see Michigan Tech students, faculty and staff, and other campus administrators. We, with our location, we will likely see campus tours, and as well as the community being invited to Design Expo. So you may likely see faces that are that don't necessarily work at Michigan Tech.
Hey, Bree. I
Yep.
just thought of just a note too, this has come up, especially with the remote event last year, but the judges will have lanyards with their name tags and some kind of indication that they're a judge. So I know some teams like to know who's a judge and who's not, as somebody might be approaching their display. So there should be a way to see whether somebody is a judge or not. And we ask the judges to introduce themselves as a judge when they come up to a team. So that should be clear.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you for that reminder. Some other folks to expect, we will likely see industry sponsors, so sponsors of your projects, as well as alumni, and sometimes they are both, who are excited to judge and to be a part of Design Expo. Also this year, what we are excited to get back to, since being back in person, is the visitor, our K-12 visitors and K-12 friends. So you will likely have young 8th graders who are hopefully excited to meet you and excited to learn what projects you have been working on. They will also have a short activity that will help them better engage with you and to learn more about what you are doing. And then lastly, a really awesome part about being a remote the last years is that it has, or virtual most, is that we have been able to invite family and friends from all over to Design Expo. And even though we are back in person and who knows what the weather holds in April, we do encourage you to invite family and friends who may be able to join us for Design Expo. And with that, that is actually what we have prepared for you today. If you do have questions, I am happy to stick around to answer those questions and to clarify anything that's been said today or that maybe hasn't been said. So feel free to mic or unmute or to put your questions in the chat.
Yeah, Tony added one here, Bree, that I'll read out for everyone. So his comment was, it would seem to make sense to see the booth before judging the video to put it in context, but actually our judging is sort of the other way around, Tony, so that the rubric is really everything except the Q&A is based on the video. And then the booth, you know, we said that the display assets are not judged. So they're not directly looking at aesthetics and things like that. But they are looking at how how the team's communicating at their table. So I think the Q&A portion is really the only piece that the booth is sort of based on. And, you should have relevant content there that supports your conversation, but we're not asking them specific things like, what the design of the booth is, aesthetics or things like that. So I don't know if that answers, but you can unmute if you want to ask more clarification on that, because we want them to judge the videos ahead of time so that we don't have to try to tally all these results within a 4-hour time frame. So we're getting a lot of their judging done between the Monday before the event and then Thursday when the booths are set up. So otherwise,
I thought that was the case, but I was thinking that perhaps even if the video has already been judged, you might have an opportunity to go back and make a change if you change your impression of the project on the booth.
So on that note, the way the judging software works, like when I just went in there, it was recording my results. And if I go back in there and change them, I'm able to do that. So if I go back in while I'm doing the Q&A and I look through, this is something that maybe we could let the judges know, you can change those until you're done. And there's no like submit button. So there's a little bit of training that we have to give them, some tutorial videos anyway, but they're certainly able to refine those ratings after the Q&A, not just on the Q&A portion. So I think that might alleviate what your concern is.
Yeah, if you do that, that'd be a great compromise.
Yeah, and the software is set up to do that. I think we just have to condition judges to know it's like a Google Doc, when they change something, it's automatically saved. So if they update it, it's not like once you submit, you're done and you can't go back in. So.
Well, I'd be happy with that if you can arrange the training to cover that issue.
Okay.
No problem. Are there any other questions? Again, I know I'm sorry I'm being repetitive, but you will receive these slides via email, and our email is here. And also, I'm sure you've already gotten plenty of emails from me, so always feel free to respond to that email or to start a new email chain with any questions that you may have. But again, we'll stay on for a couple more minutes and give folks a chance to ask questions maybe as a few people leave or as they arise. But I appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you for, again, signing up for Design Expo and for attending this information session. So please take back 9 minutes into your schedule and enjoy the rest of your evening. And again, we will stay on until the last person is left. So yes, thank you.
So Bree, nobody's asked this question, but I think it's a good strategy for when somebody's at your table display. If it's a judge, you can introduce yourself, and then depending on how they introduce themselves, you might ask, what their background is, right? Or what they do, because that could help you understand, are they a metallurgist, right? And you have an electronics project, or is this like in their wheelhouse? Because, part of the conversation is not just, this is a judge, assume they know nothing, but it's also make an introduction and try to find out what their background might be. It's not an interview of the judge per se, but it's, in a brief exchange, you can calibrate what your audience knows or doesn't know just by asking a couple questions and kind of leading into how you would then deliver what you say next. And again, these are just some kind of tips for practicing, how do you...
Rick and Bree, could it be possible to have the judge's affiliation on their name tag?
I think we have the title and the company's names, or whether they're faculty, staff here, whether they're companies. Yeah, I'll confirm what we put on the judges' name tags.
And then we do have a question in the chat. So Should our videos be designed to be understood without audio? To clarify, should we expect people to be able to listen to narration when watching the video during the expo? So you are able to show your video during the hours of expo. If that is what you'd like to include in your table display. But that's not a condition of your video. So definitely assume that people will watch your video before coming to speak with you, and that there will be others who will not have their video during Design Expo at all. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's a good point too, Bree. I mean, only the judges will have seen the videos. You know, all the other public attendees will not have seen the team videos. So they're, you know, and whether they're not judging you, but they're just genuinely interested in your project. So yeah, they're not going to have that background. So that conversation will be a little different because they wouldn't have seen the video beforehand.
Yep. Unless we have very gung-ho community members who do go to the website, the Design Expo website, to look for your video. But I think Rick makes a very good point, is that non-judges will likely come speak to you first and want to learn about what you're doing in real time while during the 4-hour Design Expo. So good question. What if you have class during Expo? So it is, Expo is, so unfortunately I cannot give you a excused absence. And so that is something that you will have to discuss with your faculty members to let them know that Design Expo is like a university event and is for educational purposes. What may be helpful is that also many faculty are also judges for Expo. And so there is some, like, I can confirm for your faculty that you are registered for Design Expo and that you will be participating. But I personally cannot excuse you from your classes. And then I guess I should also add that if you are on a team, your entire team does not have to be a part of Design Expo at the same time. And so you are more than welcome to do shifts and to rotate in and out as needed if you do have to go to class and will have to leave. So yes. All right, and if there are no other questions, then I think we can probably get going. Cool beans. All right, Rick, I think we can end the recording.
Yeah, thanks, Bree. And we have two last stragglers, Isabella and Drew. Thanks for staying till the end. If you have any questions here, we're still here, but otherwise, yeah, we'll sign off. So
awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, I think all right. Bye, everyone.